Okay, those was the initial, let's say, panelists I foreseen. By the way, I used Xavi picture, Xavi photo without asking him the consent. So hopefully he won't report me to the authorities. Anyway, so Xavi was our technical manager, but Eva will replace him. Also from colleagues from Xavi from UPC. The other two guys, I already presented them, so we already have fruitful collaboration. So let's go directly to the question. I prepared two, sorry. So the first one basically is what you already anticipated, but there is a number of projects that are developing, let's say, complementary CG security technology, but not only complementary. Well, let me say also overlapping, because, for example, the concept of security orchestration is in a number of projects, right? So where do you see the greatest opportunity for collaboration? Okay, where we can collaborate? Okay, what we should share for accelerate, the creation of this secure ecosystem. This question is for all of you. So in turn, please have a short answer. One by one. Don't be shy.
I can break the ice. Well, you already touched, from my point of view, the main point, Pietro, is because many projects are addressing similar challenges from different angles, but sometimes interoperability, even between projects, require a common building block. So, for example, that's something that European Commission is trying to push in every year more and more. That is basically interconnection between projects. Because as you say, security orchestration is a key topic, is one of the opportunities to collaborate. But in the last stream the stream, SNS stream that finished 1 month ago, I know 2-3 projects working on security orchestration, but probably doing similar things without knowing each other in particular. So it's something that we may enhance, maybe trying to create, I don't know, if a reference architecture for security could be nice, at least to start all of us from the same, concept, and try to use probably different technologies to build the final solution, but at least we have the same pillars to start. That's one opportunity. There are plenty of them, of course, but I will pass the token to others if they want to comment.
Yeah, but thanks, because you are measuring like a common baseline for the project to, as starting point for creating this let's say architecture, and yeah. Okay.
I can compliment Jose Maria on the similar,
Yes.
I think, problem, and I also observed this mainly in SNS, JU technical and steering board meetings, where you have many projects. You sometimes know very well what they do. I met people that are very happy to share what they have done. For example, if you tell them, did you build any Kakao playbooks? Yeah. Can you show them to me? Yeah, no problem. I'll send them an email, or I will show you repository. I also, on the other hand, met a lot of people that lost a spirit of open science sometimes on the way, maybe getting out of the university, being dragged by industry. So, for example, I speak to them and I say, and they talk about 5G attack data sets, right? Or like, for example, they performed a particular attack like DDoS on the network, and they build a data set and they talk about it. And then I go, that would be really nice to use by my researchers. We can cite your data set, and then can you send it to me? Or like, where is it? And then it kind of dies with the answer of, well, let me check internally. I will get back to you. So it's not on Zenodo anywhere. So this is something we try to do in UCD. We try to publish anything that we have. And I know that this is not always possible. If you are like a telecommunication company, maybe you may not be allowed to do this. You may be only able to communicate and disseminate your results, but that's it. So I would encourage yourselves to publish, because then you create opportunities for others to work with you. And actually, we noticed that people were a bit fed up with using the same data sets over and over again. So like NSL KDD is used extremely in a extreme number of publications, for example. And people wanted to have like a fresh data to work with. So that's my take. The other opportunity, I think, so that's one. So sharing data sets, sharing the playbooks, that would be really nice. And this is both ways. Like, you can contribute, but also you're being seen as like a good partner to work with. The other opportunity, I think, is the test beds themselves. So we fell into the trap of becoming slightly less attractive to partners, because we kept using simulations and emulations. If you're able to build at least a very small slice of 5G/6G network in the lab, and you secure the funding for this, that will create a lot of opportunities for you to be invited to products, for example, but also for the other partners to test their ideas on your test bed. So I see that other opportunity, and that will, of course, increase the TRL level and then make you more attractive. So there's two opportunities that I see here that are, I think, complementary to what Jose Maria said.
Yeah, thank you, Bart. You touched two important points. I will start from the last one, which is the low TRL. So usually these solutions are, let's say, less attractive. And the other one is the sharing of not only of the data set, but also, let's say, other outcomes, because although those are research projects committed to the openness, often the company policy don't allow this sharing, so it's difficult even inside a single project. So imagine between different projects, right? So without, let's say, having formal joint event, people basically don't work together. So, I perfectly agree with you. Yes, those two are important points that you raised. Eva, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I totally agree with the colleagues, and I think that first, related to the data sets, I think that it's very important to share the data set among us, and it's important also to take into account that it's not needed a really complete data set simulating 20 attacks and a very final work, because if not, I think that is what is happening, that there are no public available data sets, and we can start sharing the work that we are doing, simulating specific attacks, and that this data set can be used by others also to train the machine learning models, and to collaborate among us in order to see how we can integrate, or can we create more complete data sets. And another point that I think that it's important in the case, for example, of MARE in the pre-assessment of the security functions, is when we consider a network digital twin, it's not easy to mirror the 6G or the 5G infrastructure and to maintain the synchronization in real time. And I think that this is another point that can be discussed between in different projects using network digital twins to emulate the 5G or 6G network.
Yes, totally agree. Thank you. Well, this part of the digital twin, you are perfectly right, because the digital twin is one of the enablers. So, this is also for us a barrier towards, let's say, error that can be produced by the automation, uncontrolled automation or zero-touch automation. So it's one of the safeguards that I tried to mention before. Another point that I would like to add here, since you mentioned a lot data sets, yeah, the thing is that my opinion, since the data sets are mainly for training AI, so are also for inference, one of the problem that is anticipate also the next question is that sometimes it's difficult to demonstrate that what we are working it works at scale. So let's say, for example, you mentioned simulation or similar. So there are tons of articles that says, yes, I have these AI techniques that will save the world, but in the laboratory. So there's no, it's difficult to demonstrate this in a real operational environment. Okay, so this will actually anticipate the next question about the barrier of, adopting this technology, but they are very well connected, with what you said. So the sharing of this, let's say, data sets, especially from operational environments, are crucial for the adoption of these technologies, and also for creating awareness and interconnection and collaboration between the projects. Okay, so let's go to the other question. This is the second one. I already anticipated. What do you believe is the biggest barriers for the adoption of advanced 6G security solution in the industry? I tried to list some of them: technology maturity, standardization, regulation, business incentives, or something else. I will also add like trustworthiness of this solution, not towards this solution from the adopters.
So I can begin if that's okay. And the reason why I'm jumping in is because at the beginning of my presentation, I mentioned that I will try to brief the idea of the MVP and the startup. And we found about a year and a half ago that wasn't like anything visionary, but there's this valley of death, I call it, between TRL 5 and 8 even, that as university we were not able to reach at all, right? So universities, and I think European projects in general, are like really good at prototypes, like papers, but and the POCs, of course, but the adoption into the actual networks, it fails in the last 3 TRLs, like 5, like 6, 7, 8, right? So when we create the demos, when we create the prototypes, this isn't exactly something that, for example, network operator like Telefonica or Deutsche Telekom or you name it, can procure, certify, standardize, or even like test in their real network, especially. So what I found that universities obviously are needed, and they essentially train the talent that I think is then acquired by industry, and they become like some of these academics become like staff in the industry, and they publish openly, and that's great because that's why they receive these grants. So they have this flexibility to work on like the problems that the industry will not necessarily have time or money to work on, but they are blocked, I think, at a TRL 4, 5, sometimes they can do 6 at maximum. But that's what's really blocking the quick adoption of these ideas that are developed in academia or the projects like this to the industry. So, and it's not the job of the universities that to build solutions that are TRL 6, 7, 8. But that's why we need more focused SMEs and especially SMEs, I think, that will be fixed on a particular problem, a smaller problem, but bring it to like really high TRL, as high as possible. So then we can become attractive to, for example, network operators or the government. So that's my view on this. And that's why we started MVP, because as UCD, we were really unable to bring up the high TRL level. And of course, the reason for this is that the university rewards their staff on like the number of papers, and it's being rewarded on the number of PhDs they have produced and maybe the number of prototypes they have developed, but the outputs are parked at maybe 4 or 5 TRL. And we could not overcome this without going to like the industry mode. So that's the biggest barrier for me, I think, coming from academia, that I can see, that I don't think is really solvable unless you start different spin-offs in universities that focus on a particular product. We never bring it up to the product level. Sometimes we bring it to the patent level, but as you know, with the patents, very often you just open the drawer, leave the patent in the drawer and close it, and that never becomes a product. So that's my view on the biggest barriers that I observe in here.
Yeah, thanks, Bart. I agree in the sense that probably you are right. In this, probably it's not part of the mission of the university. Okay, it's not a university mission to create innovation in the sense of transforming R&D research prototypes into innovative products. Okay, so high TRL product. This is something that should be done from someone else, like I don't know, SMEs or research institutes that are committed to the technological transfer, or similar. Yeah. Any other opinion?
Well, I agree on what you were commenting as part of university. And I will include that maybe another barrier could be that in the last years is changing a bit the idea, but the security invest often compete with another initiative that deliver more immediate revenue, and that's maybe one of the reasons why there are evolution of security solutions, but they are not used as much as they need nowadays, because we put the spotlight on gain more money or reduce humans or minimize other aspects, in order always having in mind the amount of money that we might reach as part of in the industry part. But when we have some problems, we come back and we say that probably the security investment was not enough, at least the plan that we had in mind. In parallel, maybe the standardization maturity could be another barrier, but here the industry has more, let's say, knowledge than I can provide on this aspect, because I believe that invest the time in something that is still is not stable still, because it's working on 3GPP, ETSI, or any other standardization body. It could be in context of the benefit of an industry until it's stable. So maybe the standardization is something that also can be a barrier. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when we talk about interoperability of different, in such heterogeneous environment like 6G, but also 5G. Yes, it's difficult to find, let's say, standard interfaces, and usually these standards, as you say, change very frequently. So yes, I agree. Any other? Okay. I would like to complement this, saying that probably there are other, of course, elements that works as barriers in for the adoption of this security advanced security solution. One thing I have in mind is due to the fact that these advanced security solutions are basically mainly AI driven, as I said, and also we are looking for more and more automation, AI driven automation. There is a problem of. Oh, Johannes, will you please put your mic? So, and probably operators are understandably reluctant to adopting this solution, like that are not so mature enough into an operational environment, right? So in this sense, for example, explainability that leads to trustworthiness, it's something that can, let's say, somehow break this barrier. And the other things that you mentioned before, the data, use of good data or good data set, because poor data set leads to poor decision, and this is something that is not acceptable in an operational environment. Okay. Any other question or any other opinion from the audience? Okay. So thank you all for participating in this event. Thanks to our external speaker, thanks to all the speaker, and thanks to all the people that supporting me in organizing this event.
Thank you all.
Yeah,
thank
I
you,
will
Pietro, for your efforts in organizing this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you very much also the invited speakers. Thank you.
Yes, and thanks to the audience. I will send an email to you all for our, let's say, evaluation form, so that you can provide us a feedback with respect to the event. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you all. Have a nice day.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Bye.